Ever since I know myself, growing up in Arokobesa, there's always competition. Competition at many, many levels. There were competition in soccer, football, what we call it, cricket, baseball, bass. I mean, if you know bass, right? Dandy shandy, you name it. 100 meter, 25 meter. I mean, on the beach, we lift weights to see who can lift the heaviest weight. Swimming race. It's always a competitive, and there was a great. It was a good amount of boys, because girls didn't come on the street that much. It was mostly boys. But living in Canopand, we had up the road and down the road. So up the road, anything past sandal shop is up the road, right? And anything from sandal shop to about Miss Boot shop is down the road. Even up to Tank Lane is down the road. Not going to Tank Lane, you know. Just where the Tank Lane meets Canopand. So down the road is all of the houses on the front page, most likely on Canopand Road, and all the boys. And then up the road are boys up to Airy Hill and, you know, going towards high school and stuff. I mean, yes. And so when we ran out of games to play, we would make them up. We made up something called grong ball. It's a tennis. It's like tennis. So we were playing table tennis, right? Table tennis. And then we played, we never had the ability to play lawn tennis. You know, the regular tennis, we never had the ability. But we had the balls, right? The closest tennis court would probably be about 2 miles or 3 miles down the street at Golden Head Hotel, and nobody can go on the premises. No community person can come on the premises. So we can't play lawn tennis. We don't get that. You know, we're not Kingston. And so we made up grung ball. So what grung ball is, we use the same lawn tennis balls, yellow or green, right? And we made our bats, right? The bats made out of wood, probably a 1/4 inch thick plywood, all right? And we just draw a line in the road, you know, like a volleyball court. And we didn't have a net. We just make sure that the ball goes over the line. All right, so it can't bounce on your side and then go over there. You lost, right? So you have to hit it over the line. And man, some kind of war take place sometimes, you know. It's really heartfelt. And we play it up a bridge, right? So there are several bridges, what we call bridge, up a bridge or down a bridge. Down a bridge, a Starchy Tree, up a bridge in front of Cloud House, you know, past Master Sanders shop. And so up a bridge was the main place for it. And so we would go up and up the road against down the road and play, you know, different sets of games. We played Rokobesa versus Canopand, you know. So everybody down at Rokobes, we play volleyball, or we have swimming competition, you know, swimming a mile, a quarter mile or a half a mile out at sea, and coming back, you know, we had some fabulous cricketers, you know. Oh my gosh, we had a gentleman, Barif, Turkey Barif, you know. We are so proud of Turkey because Turkey made it like to national finals, you know. He could have played on the West Indies. Trust me, that man was so fast. Jesus, beast. When Turkey take the ball from down the center and he run up like a Michael Holding Not sweet like that, you know. So, but you know, we played cricket on the streets, or we go up on Barryfall Hill where there's a landing, and we would play uptown versus downtown. You know, it's like always who's better. You know, after we done play, we go to the beach, and the whole discussion is about the game where we just done play, and competition continues. You know, who bowl out who lick who bat who. I mean, it's just on and on and on and on. And so there's always this level of competition in the back of my mind that I ran half marathon. First half marathon I ran once upon a time. You know, I just couldn't afford to see someone in front of me. You know, I don't care if them are run or walk, as long as me can pass them, me want them, you know. It's like competition galore. Anything that I do is competitive. And I know a lot of my friends are like that. When you play domino, it's pure. But hey, listen, sometimes you play a domino game and you don't even know how it ends. Because before the game done, a man claiming winnings and nobody else know how he win. But him win, you know. But the game done, pow, turn up on table and lick domino. Me not understand everything there, right? And so, very competitive. Our community or our society is built on competition. And so, now I don't know if this gentleman was joking or not. His name's Strength. And I know that most of us who grew up in the community can attest to there's always one or two older men in our community that we would call by a particular name, and then either they chase us, shoot after us with them slingshot, or them throw rocks stone at us or something like that, right? And so whenever we wanted to practice, and I remember when we were doing, when we were in school and practicing, there's a guy older guy by the name of Strength. Really strong, very thin guy, but him can run far and long, you know? So we'd go to his house if we want to practice. We want to run a 2 mile or 3 mile, you know? Go to his house and call him with Trent, you know? And Trent would practically come out of his house and run us down, you know, for 2 miles. Trent. And you know, he lived in Coleraine, a little boarded house. And we just go there and call him. And Trent would run us down for the entire, and you know, so we run left him most times, so we don't know where he is. After a mile or so, we don't know where he is. But he could run very far. And sometimes when we stop and in our rugby side, he'd probably walk up, but he doesn't know who it is. You know, if he caught us, you know, he would be doing, I'm not so sure what he would be doing. But there's always someone in our community like that, right? So the competition continues. It's like almost who can climb coconut tree faster. I give you a joke, you know. No, well, I'm not so sure this is a joke. It's not a joke. It's because of me happened to. So I don't think Ashley will remember this, but we went to a coconut tree. It wasn't that long. It wasn't that tall. The coconut tree wasn't that tall at all. Because most times our coconut trees gone way up in the sky. Eh? But this one was like, I was 6'4", probably 2 times my height. And Ashley was able to practically climb the tree. So he was stepping up the tree and hugging the tree like that. And he goes up in there and kick out the thing them and, you know, kick out the jelly them, you know. And me now, I have never climbed. I do not know how to, you know, walk up a coconut tree. Have you ever seen a guy walk up a coconut tree? This is probably the most amazing thing. Without a string around his body, he could just walk up. So sometimes they use a kind of rope or banana, twisted banana thing, and they put it around their feet, 2 feet, and they hug the coconut tree, and they jump like a frog all the way up to the top. Or you can hug it and climb it with your hands and your feet, right? And jumping, somewhat jumping, moving like a frog also, but slower. Or you can pretty much walk up that coconut tree just by hugging it from around here. And I still wonder how these guys do these things. It's amazing to me. But I found myself up in a coconut tree one day, right? And when you go up in a coconut tree, those limbs, the trunk, the coconut limb, no, the leaf, start from the stem outwards. They're very sharp. When they're green, they're sharp on the edge. And so you step inside of the house of the coconut tree. And it wasn't too bad going up, right? I am not one of those guys who is comfortable out in the bushes, right? Even though I come from country and that, I'm not one of those guys. I climb a tree as long as I have a lot of branches go. But the coconut tree, no. I found myself, however, trying to show off inside of the house of the coconut. If you know what the house is, it's in the center of the top of the tree. That's the house. When you're up there, you don't fear anything. My problem was to come out of the house, you have to come out and grab back the tree down there. Grab back the stem. So you have to come out and then grab back the stem with your feet. Me didn't come out because me could not find my way how to come out of that house and grab back and hug back the trunk of the tree. I could not do it. They had to go get a ladder for me. And even the ladder was having problems coming out of the ladder. Coming out. I promised myself never to go back in a coconut tree. I would never even try to climb it. I'm not doing it. That was a hard thing because to me, what I felt was that I am going to have to jump out and broke myself. I mean, broke up my foot and everything. Because it couldn't happen. I would never, because if I try to come out, I'm going to fall off. And I don't want the leaves to cut me. It's it's true. And so I had a real problem being a regular Joe, a regular kid climbing, just going up. I was never a last guy either. I wasn't a cutlass guy. I've been there, but every time I use a cutlass, it's like it causes a lot of. And my hands are not soft, It causes a lot of water bumps in my hand. And I was never that kind of guy. So anybody who you'll never hear me say, me go plant yam and for the whole day and I'll go, but I'll go for the food. I'll go for the food. I love the cooking, but sometimes, I remember also as boys, we always go out and run boats, right? Yes? And I remember one time, I remember who was there. There was Stick, Bumpy, Gunner, Deli, me. There were 5 of us. Yeah. And then there was another one named Brian. I don't remember Brian's last name. He come from up a Marston town. Everybody can help me. Brian Christie. Oh my God. It just came out. Brian Christie was his name. And Brian. And we got cornmeal from school. Probably about 5 pounds of cornmeal. And we didn't know what to do with it. Right? So the best, we'd have to have flour to mix it. But that's too much cornmeal for mix flour. We'll buy 10, 15 pounds of flour for do anything with that. So what we had to do then, we said we're going to make porridge. So we get a zinc pan, right? We get a zinc pan and so we're going to make cornmeal porridge because everybody loves cornmeal porridge. If you didn't grow up on cornmeal porridge, then you're not come from Jamaica. Trust me, okay? Everybody, and yes, take me on. If you didn't grow up on cornmeal porridge, if you grew up on hominy corn, then you come from Kingston. I bet you. Okay, guarantee. But cornmeal porridge is country people food, You can always cornmeal is the cheapest thing out there that you can buy. So if you have some cornmeal, whatever the milk is that you want, whether it's cow's milk, condensed milk, even though condensed milk is a choice milk to make a cornmeal, or coconut milk, whatever milk you can get. People always have nutmeg and cinnamon in their house. That your house always has nutmeg and cinnamon. That goes without saying. And your house always have sugar. If you don't have sugar, you can borrow some. Pretty much. So you always have a meal, no matter what time of the day. And so we went out with 5 pounds of cornmeal and we threw it all in a zinc pan on the fire, right? And we had bought a couple, maybe a pound or so of sugar and, you know, whatever the ingredients were that we needed. And I recall there a chat and a laugh and thing and the cornmeal a bubble and thing, man. And I don't remember who would have mixed it around and thing, but it got to a point where the darn thing couldn't mix anymore. It got so thick that it, you know, we put the sugar in and mix it around and thing, and it's like it couldn't mix anymore. We didn't have any more water to put in the pot because we were with our bush. So we had to just, you know, take out some of the fire from under it and make it go on steam, you know, until it's soft. Well, just the grains are soft, but the porridge itself looked like pudding. We had to cut it out, cut the pudding, cut the cornmeal porridge to eat it. And man, oh man, we had so much fun with porridge. But if you have not done these competitive things and gone to the bush and sit down and laugh, we're from a culture where we are very, very competitive, super competitive. And you know, every day you talk, someone is bragging about who can cook the best, who can do the best ital stew, or who can do the best ital, plate, or who can do the best fish, the best steamed fish. And I mean, that's just constant over and over and over. Marble. We used to play a game of marble, and our aim was to gain as much marble as we can, you know, by the end of marble season, I guess. But when marble time comes around, we have the ring game, right? And we have the bunks on wall. Anybody remember the one where you bunks on the wall, you bunks it, and you try to reach close, so you can span the thing, and the person have to pay a marble or two or something like that. I mean, who remembers that? Who also remembers, and this will take you way back, all right? When I go to school, we have chewing gum, right? We have chewing gum. But chewing gum was, we had to buy a pack that has a card in it. A star boy or a star girl card. Gina Tree, John Wayne, all of these guys on pictures. And then we would take those pictures and trade them, right? So there were like C series, B series, and A series, right? A series, the most recent stars. So the most recent stars were the 60s and 50s at the time. B series was like Gabby A's of the 40s. Gabby A's and those guys. And Gene Autry and all of these guys. And then there was a C series, Series A or Series C. Series C were stars of the 30s. And so the 30s and 40s were the hardest to get. But we had, you know, we'd walk around with cards, stack of cards. And sometimes we trade 2 A's for a B, or an A and a B for a C, and so forth. Because, and probably that's how I got to know so many of these stars. I mean, you can't call the name of a star of the 30s and 40s and 50s, and I don't know who that is. I have seen movies with them, or I've seen their cards. And I know everything about them because on the cards it gives a profile, and then we play marble for the cards. or play cards for the cards, you know, and that kept us. These days, you know, once upon a time, some 30 years ago, we used to see baseball cards where you have the baseball player, and behind the card, you'll see all their RBIs and their statistics, right? Well, that's the same thing, except only a small amount of profile information was at the bottom of the picture. So you used to have the person's name, whether this is a Series A or Series B, and the time that he played in the movies from, right? That's pretty much it. But stacks and anybody has any cards out there? Anybody has any movie star cards out there? Because I have not seen those things in 50 years. Yeah, probably 45, 48, 50 years. And it was the in thing of the time. I mean, we have cell phones now, we can access everybody. But those days, we had no clue how to access a star. Only thing that we had in Jamaica was those little cards. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know, join in the conversation, because trust me, those cards were the big thing of the day. And we